Falcons, and he goes, they watch over the dead, Jimmy. He goes, they do.
And they look like
a good-sized chess piece.
Jimmy had a strong feeling that Hall's wood-carved falcons and the map were journal-keeping by a serial killer.
That map had little red dots all over it of Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. You'd look down at this map and you could see all of those little spots are burial spots where he's got somebody.
All those months of dangerous, painstaking work had paid off. Jimmy had cracked the case. Mission accomplished.
once you see the map, the Falcons, you want to tell the FBI about it, right?
I did. I went to the hotline I had for the FBI girl. I called. I got some type of a voice recording. It was after hours.
So Jimmy left a message for his FBI contact to come get him, the map, and the Falcons. His freedom and the answers to Trisha's parents' prayers were now just hours away.
I was elated. I felt I wrapped this up.
You're expecting the troops to come marching in.
Expecting the troops to come marching in. And it didn't quite work that way.
What he couldn't know was his FBI contact didn't get his voicemail. And his one inside contact, the chief psychiatrist, was on vacation.
Then you got a little full of yourself, didn't you?
I did. I went back to my cell. I was really happy. I thought, you know what? 24 hours, they said, they'll have me out of here. I've got what they need. This is it. So I went across to his cell over there.
Impulsively, Jimmy decided he just couldn't leave prison without giving his fake friend a piece of his mind.
The repulsiveness I felt about him throughout the whole time I had to stay being his friend, and the disdain and dislike I had for him, that I thought it was good for me to unload on him and tell him what I really thought of him and who he really was. I said, you know, I'm going to be going home tomorrow, Larry. And I said, you're a crazy killer. And I started calling him everything you can think of.
With that, Jimmy returned to his cell and waited to be released.
You're going home the next day, you think, and things take another turn.
About 5:30 in the morning, I hear some little lady in a white doctor's smock come walking in.
It was Hall's psychologist, and she was furious that Jimmy had blasted her patient, turning him into an emotional wreck.
She told the guards, grab him, take him, throw him in the hole. So they put me in the hole, and they keep me in there. And I'm not really worried. I'm thinking, so what? The FBI is going to be here. They told me 24 hours, they'll have me out of here.
But morning turned into afternoon, into evening, and the cavalry still hadn't arrived. This was hard time at its hardest.
You can't see if it's day or night because you're in the hole. But you can tell what time of the day or night it is by what meal's coming through the door slot. Well, next thing you know, here's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Next thing you know, here's coming breakfast again, here's coming lunch again. I'm like, where are these guys? My thoughts were, they did me wrong. They got what they needed, they got the info, and they pulled the rug out from under me.
While Jimmy was wondering where they were, Beaumont was looking for him, too.
And we were like, where could he be? He's in a prison, for God's sake.
They lost you.
Yeah, they lost me.
But had they also lost their best chance at finding the body of Trisha Reitler? Larry Beaumont successfully snuck informant Jimmy Keene into the Springfield prison in 1998. He just didn't expect to lose him there.
Goes off your radar.
Yeah, he disappeared. A couple of weeks, we didn't know what the heck happened to him. We were trying to find out. We were kind of getting frantic.
2 weeks later, only after Keene's psychiatrist contact returned from vacation, did they finally find Jimmy.
By noon, the FBI was there, and she kept apologizing. She kept saying, I'm really sorry, something happened with the message.
At last, investigators got to search the wood shop and Hall's cell. But by then, the map and the Falcons, items Jimmy believed could lead to Trisha, were gone.
What were you thinking, telling Larry Hall you're out of here and dressing him down?
People probably wouldn't understand the mounting pressure. That kettle's ready to boil over at any time, and it just felt good to unload on the guy.
The problem is, as I see it, you've unloaded on him, he knows you're against him, but nobody has that map.
Right. I'm disappointed I didn't wait another day or two at least. I should have waited a few more days. I wish I could have done more for him. But I did all I could do, and I feel in my being that I did all I could do.
Meantime, the people who would benefit the most from a successful mission, Trisha's parents, only learned about the secret operation 10 years later, in 2008, when the story came out in a Playboy magazine article. The Reitlers are thankful for Jimmy's courage and the corroborating details he said he got from Hall, but they're furious he blew his cover before finding their daughter.
Why would you have been so close?
Yes.
And then give it up like you did?
I try not to dwell on that at all because it eats at me, and it's very hard to deal with that he was that close.
Jesse Roach's parents find small consolation in that Jesse was the victim who tripped up Hall.
If something good could possibly come out of losing Jesse, it's the fact that he's in prison and he will never get released.
Hall, 49, remains in federal prison with no possibility of parole. In recent years, he actually has made more murder confessions to reporters and investigators.
I sincerely believe that there are young girls out there somewhere who are alive today because Larry Hall is in prison.
Do you think he'd killed before?
I think he killed before, and I think he would kill again.
Jimmy did tell Beaumont that Hall had killed again, but there was no documentation. It was just Jimmy's word. So to be sure, the prosecutor made him take a lie detector test. And Jimmy passed with flying colors.
He was telling us the truth. So, the bottom line is we had further information that Larry was responsible for Tricia.
A grateful Beaumont decided to reward him with full credit for his brave undercover work, releasing him from prison and scrubbing his criminal record clean.
From his perspective, he expected to get nothing. But from my perspective, I mean, of course, he'd spent time in the loony bin with this guy and gone through this whole process.
For 15 years, Jimmy had been the only one to see those falcons that Hall said watched over the dead.
The problem is we never got them, though. I mean, they disappeared, so we don't know what happened to them.
You've never seen the falcons?
No.
I want to show you a picture. That's one of the falcons.
Dateline took pictures of a falcon when we met Larry Hall's twin brother. He said Larry carved the falcon in the wood shop at the Springfield prison and then mailed it to their mother. I showed a photo of that falcon to both Beaumont and Jimmy.
What's it like for you to see that after all these years?
Well, it's definitely bizarre, but it's also reassuring to me, Lester, and I'll tell you why. Now these falcons backs everything I've said. Yes, it's exactly what it looked like.
After becoming a free man in 1999, Jimmy got to spend 5 more years with a father he idolized before Big Jim passed away. And he's kept his nose clean, not wasting his incredible opportunity.
He sees the Hall experience as something that gave him a second chance at life.
He's done well in real estate and co-wrote a book with author Hillel Levin, In with the Devil, which tells Jimmy's compelling story of redemption. He says he's now working on several Hollywood projects, most notably the movie version of his book. The Academy Award-winning producer of The Departed owns film rights, and Brad Pitt from Springfield, Missouri himself is interested.
I've talked with Brad Pitt and his people, and Brad Pitt loves the relationship that I had with my father. He loves the fact that this happened in his own hometown.
But Jimmy is especially proud, he says, that his book re-energized some cold case investigations, several targeting Hall in Indiana and Wisconsin, at least one near a Civil War reenactment site. Investigators recently dug up locations where Hall spent time over the years and found articles of women's clothing and a belt modified with wooden handles, all set out for DNA testing. But cold case detectives following fresh leads still haven't developed enough evidence to bring charges.
The walls are closing in on him. There would be no cold case files open if it wasn't for me. None. I did a good deed, and I did a lot of good things, and that's where I feel the redemption comes in. I've done something good for the things that I did wrong.